Martell versus Melody Shari, a new figure had entered the picture. The Guardian Ad Litem, a neutral advocate appointed to protect the best interests of the Holt children. But according to whispers spreading through Huntsville, Martell's encounter with this guardian was nothing short of explosive. For years, fans watched Martell on Love and Marriage, Huntsville, the confident, ambitious businessman who once built an empire alongside Melody. Together, they represented power, success, and Black excellence, the golden couple everyone admired. But then everything fell apart. The affair, the public fallout, and the never-ending custody battle turned Martell from a fan favorite into one of reality TV's most controversial figures. And now, that controversy has reached a boiling point. Reports from the courtroom describe Martell's behavior as shocking and scaring disrespectful. Some say he was aggressive, talking back to the Guardian in a hostile tone. Others claim he completely lost control, as if the cameras were still rolling and he was performing for an audience. And then came the phrase that has now gone viral, "Let's thug it." Whether he actually said those words or not, the quote has taken on a life of its own, becoming a symbol of what many see as Martell's anger and lack of control. It raises a bigger question. Is Martell really fighting for his children? Or is he fighting for control, ego, and attention? The appointment of a guardian ad litem is a serious sign in any custody case. It means the court has concerns about the children's well-being and wants an independent voice to speak for them. For Martell to allegedly clash with this neutral party suggests he still doesn't understand that this isn't reality TV anymore. This is real life, with real consequences. Sources say the tension escalated when Martell was asked about his communication with Melody. That's when things reportedly went downhill. He became defensive, accusing the system of being unfair, a familiar refrain for someone who has long blamed editing and outside forces for his problems. But the court isn't interested in excuses. It's interested in evidence, cooperation, and the best interests of the children. Meanwhile, Melody Shari has remained calm and composed throughout it all. Her social media is filled with messages of faith and focus. With one post, "No weapon formed against me shall prosper," becoming her personal anthem. While Martell makes headlines for the wrong reasons, Melody continues to build her businesses, focus on her music, and raise her children. She's moving forward quietly, letting her peace and progress speak louder than any online drama. Even the rest of the Love and Marriage, Huntsville cast has stayed quiet, offering only cryptic messages and subtle shade. Martell Scott spoke about staying disciplined when others act emotional. Letitia Scott posted about letting people expose themselves. And Kimmy Scott wrote about emotional maturity, all of which fans believe are quiet responses to Martell's courtroom behavior. Their silence says everything. They've seen this pattern before and know better than to get caught in the chaos. Social media, however, hasn't been so quiet. The comments under Martell's posts are flooded with criticism. Fans and followers are urging him to seek therapy, take accountability, and stop blaming everyone else. But Martell appears to be doubling down instead, posting gym selfies, motivational quotes, and cryptic messages aimed at his haters. The act feels transparent, a desperate attempt to control the narrative and convince the world that he's still in control. The Ariane Curry situation only makes things worse. Her cryptic posts keep bringing up the past, reminding everyone of the affair that started it all. She's like a ghost that refuses to disappear, reappearing every time Martell seems to find his footing. The "Let's thug it" phrase has now become a meme, a hashtag, a symbol of Martell's public downfall. And it's tragic, because Martell once had it all: success, family, love, and respect. But somewhere along the way, fame and ego took over, leading him down a path of self-destruction. He had the chance to rebuild, to learn from his mistakes, to show growth and maturity. But instead, he seems stuck in the same cycle: defensive, bitter, and unwilling to accept responsibility. Melody, in contrast, continues to rise. She's focused, grounded, and at peace. Her silence is her weapon, her success, her response. While Martell spirals, Melody soars, building businesses, inspiring fans, and providing a sense of stability for her children. The difference between their paths couldn't be clearer. She's ascending while he's unraveling. Cameras are no doubt capturing all of this. Love and marriage. Huntsville has never shied away from real-life drama. And the Martell Melody saga remains one of its central storylines. If footage from the courtroom ever surfaces, it's sure to become one of the most talked-about moments of the season. Even if the show doesn't directly address it, the tension will spill onto the screen through cast reactions and shifting dynamics behind the scenes. Whispers suggest that Guardian Ad Litem's report doesn't look good for Martell. Allegedly, it highlights concerns about his temperament, communication, and ability to co-parent. If true, that could heavily affect his custody arrangement. But instead of showing humility or remorse, Martell keeps posting vague messages about being misunderstood and fighting for his rights. Messages that ring hollow to fans who've seen this pattern before. The saddest part is that it didn't have to be this way. Martell once stood for something positive: family, ambition, and determination. But his refusal to take accountability has turned his story into a cautionary tale. Meanwhile, Melody's resilience shines as a reminder that peace and focus are stronger than drama and pride. Now, the world is watching to see what happens next. Will Martell finally hit rock bottom and turn things around? Or will he continue down a path that costs him everything? One thing's for sure, the people of Huntsville have seen this movie before. And this time, they're not sure if there will be a happy ending. As the dust settles from the courtroom chaos, one thing has become crystal clear. Martell Holt's public image is hanging by a thread. The once celebrated businessman and reality TV star now finds himself battling not just for custody, but for credibility. Every move he makes, every post he uploads, seems to widen the gap between the man he once was and the one fans see today. Those who have followed his journey from the beginning remember a time when Martell and Melody symbolized success and unity. They were the couple who inspired others, driven, beautiful, and ambitious. But the image of that power duo has long since faded, replaced by tension, bitterness, and public embarrassment. Martell's inability to separate his real life from the world of reality TV seems to be his biggest downfall. He's still performing when he should be reflecting, still fighting for control when he should be fighting for change. Behind the scenes, sources claim that the Guardian Ad Litem's report paints a concerning picture of Martell's behavior, noting issues with communication, cooperation, and temperament. These findings could have serious consequences for his custody case, potentially limiting his access or decision-making rights when it comes to his children. For any parent, that would be a devastating blow. But for Martell, who has built much of his identity around being a father, it could be the wake-up call he desperately needs. Unfortunately, rather than acknowledging the gravity of the situation, Martell appears to be doubling down on his pride. His social media remains filled with curated images of success, motivational quotes about perseverance, and subtle digs at his critics. But fans aren't fooled. They can see the cracks beneath the surface, the insecurity behind the confidence, the frustration behind the bravado. His attempts to project strength come across as deflection, a refusal to confront the very behavior that has landed him in this position. Meanwhile, Melody continues to handle everything with grace and focus. She's not responding to the noise. She's channeling her energy into growth. Between her music, her business ventures, and her role as a mother, Melody is proving that peace truly is power. She doesn't need to clap back. Her success is doing it for her. And that quiet confidence has made her not just a fan favorite, but a symbol of resilience and rebirth. Even those closest to the situation seem to have chosen sides without saying a word. The subtle posts from the Huntsville cast speak volumes: calm warnings, veiled advice, and subtle encouragement towards self-discipline and emotional control. They've seen Martell's pattern before, and they know how this story usually ends. It's a cycle of charm, chaos, then regret, one that only Martell himself can break. What makes this moment so pivotal is that it feels like the point of no return. if the reports about his courtroom behavior and the Guardian Ad Litem's findings are true. This isn't just another PR problem, it's a legal one, and one that could permanently alter the course of his family life. The court doesn't care about Instagram followers, show ratings, or who wins in the public eye.